My focus area is the center of the palm, and it flexes on impact. So as I'm here, and you can see the look on his face through all that padding. Now, I didn't punch it, I didn't use knuckles, no hard surfaces. All it was a slap. This can be done laterally, or it could be done coming down in this motion. So again, we stay relaxed, and we throw the slap. Sometimes if you do it right, person starts coughing because it affects their lungs. A good example is if you do it to somebody and you slap their chest, they'll start coughing. So when people have a cough with babies, you slap their back. Same idea, you're sending a vibration through, shaking everything up. Usually we wouldn't be attacking to the chest, although at advanced levels you can actually attack the heart of the lungs with this technique. But it's most effective on a harder surface such as the skull. With the power slap, distance is not quite as important. If he's holding the target, if I come from a really big distance, I'll actually generate less power than if I come from short, which is good because in real situation you can't come from back here and expect somebody to be there when you hit them. So basically what I do is I start here, and this is the maximum distance from the target that I want to be. I loosen my hand, and everything from power always comes from your hips. Never just stick your hand out. Always turn the waist. Even though we're striking with the palm, it's our entire body that's generating the power. Loose and fast. We're not pushing, we're not using muscles, it's more like a whipping motion. So as we're here, and you can see his whole body folds, he breathes out, you're basically knocking the wind out of him. If you did this without a target, it would be very dangerous. So whenever you practice, always through a target. And usually you want to practice with somebody your size. If you get a real small person, you still can do a lot of damage to them even with the target. So always be careful. Now, we know how to do the shot. Center of the palm, we come across. Where we hit is very important. So you can put that down. A number one target for this technique is 3 pressure points. Above the eyebrow, the corner of the eye, and the temple. So it's gallbladder 1, 3, and triple warmer 23. Names aren't that important, it's just important that you know where they are. So it's above the eyebrow, you're going to feel a little indent. That's 1 point. Right at the corner of the eye, there's another indent. That's 2 points. And the temple is 3. We want to hit it not with the heel. So just turn a little bit more. Not with the heel, but a slapping motion. If you do it right, you'll hear this. So now, if your partner grabs you and you want out, you slap, you get a fantastic effect. Through experience, this particular point generally doesn't knock the person down, but it always does what it just did. It makes him turn, he starts blinking, he doesn't know where he is for a second. If I wanted to follow up with another strike, a throw, a choke, or if I just wanted to run, I would be able to do that. Of course, if I put more power into it, the effect would be much greater. So again, the first point is this triangle, triple warmer 23 above the eye, the temple, and the corner of the eye. Ready? Turn this way a little bit. And what I want is just like this. So I want to hit this in a slapping motion, like I want to take this eye and knock it to the opposite eye. So you have to have a visualization whenever you do it. So loose and slap. Another situation, if he was to grab and punch me, I would block the punch and shoot back to that spot immediately. If I wanted to do it off of a punching defense, if he threw a straight punch, I would block and shoot up from underneath. Immediately after contact, I can shoot to a choking technique. All right, so watch that one more time. Shoot up, boom, right into a choke, a one-arm choke. So hopefully the slap would drop him. If it didn't, I finish immediately with the choke. I stun him. Another way to do a similar move is to go over the arm and come back. So the last one we went under the arm. This one we block the wrist, the elbow, we bring it down a little and slap across. All right, a little bit faster. 1 and 2, coming across. So we have the triangle on the side of the eye. When we use the power slap, targets are very important. So we already covered the side targets on the corner of the eye. Now we're going to cover the forehead targets, some called the gallbladder cluster, which is gallbladders 13, 14, and 15. These 3 points lie above the eyebrow ridge. It's not on the eye, so it's above the bone, in the center of the eye, directly above it, and a few inches lateral. So if you follow his hairline, it's pretty much where the hair is. If you look at your own palm, you have a little hole here, a hole here, a hole here. So it forms a triangle. Your triangle is trying to go onto his triangle. When you match them up, you're hitting 3 points at once. It becomes very effective with that loose slapping motion. All right, so coming this way. So basically all we're doing is popping. We're here, boom. All right, not a hard shot, but you get a fantastic effect. And aside from a little red mark, in about 10 minutes, there'll be no evidence you ever struck him. So you can knock him down, knock him out, and not actually injure somebody, which is good, because if you could avoid hurting somebody and still defend yourself, it's always that much better. How you would use this would be against any type of a grab. You could shoot out immediately. We can combine it with other pressure points, like the large intestine points on the arm, and go for the shot. If he was punching us, we can move in and hit simultaneously. Okay, basically anything that you could think of. If he threw a roundhouse kick, we could catch it and shoot for that spot, helping us bring him to the ground. So we have the gallbladder cluster above the eye, in the hairline, and lateral. Same slapping motion that we hit the target with. All right, the next target for the power slap is along the jawline. There are a lot of pressure points here, and you can't specifically hit one or the other with this technique, but you'll get a bunch of them, so we'll just cover what the possibilities are. The main one we're after is the stomach 5-point. If you make a line from the corner of his eye down to his jaw, underneath it, that's the first point we're going for. The next point is the small intestine 17-point, which is between his jaw and his neck, right in the neck muscle here. You press it, very painful. The third point you could possibly hit would be behind the jaw, the triple warmer 17. And the fourth point could be the gallbladder 20, the fingers wrap around. All you really need to do, to simplify it, is put your hand on his jaw. Try not to hit his ear, because all it'll do is hurt his ear, but not have an effect. Slap, just like that. So you had your choice before of going up here, coming to the side. All right, we're going to try this one. As we're here, slapping underneath the jaw. You could hear and see his reaction. I would say I hit him that hard. If you go back and you see how hard we were actually hitting the shield, imagine applying that force to the point that we just did. He would be unconscious, or at the very least on the floor. So again, I'm not going to hit him again, but we slap under the jaw like we want it to come out this side. We don't slap across, slightly up and in. And we're aiming along the jaw ridge and into the neck. We're trying to get as many points as we can in a quick shot. The applications would be very similar. If he punched, we could bring it down, slap across. If he grabbed and punched, we can block, slap across. If he was just grabbing us, right, we can escape from the grab and slap across. Always remember whipping motion and aim for the target. As we get more and more advanced, we want to condense our striking area to make it smaller and smaller. Meaning, a palm strike is a very large area. If we focus 2 knuckles, it becomes smaller. But if we could focus it to 1 knuckle or fingertips, we become much more damaging. The problem with this is, number one, we need a little bit of conditioning, a little bit of hand strength to be able to do this position. But more importantly, number two, we need to be more accurate. Hopefully, as you get more advanced, your accuracy will increase and you'll be able to take advantage of these techniques. One of the advantages in using them, aside from the smaller surface area, is I can do a lot of damage over a short distance. If I face Dusan and I decide I want to strike him from here, pretty much anybody can knock him out there. But if I'm in very close and I need to hit him in a short range, that chop might not be so effective. But if I could use a small weapon, the index finger, the center finger, the thumb, or even the fingertips, I could generate enough force over a short distance to be able to use my technique and do damage to him, even though I don't have all the wind-up that I would have liked. So the first one we're going to do is the index knuckle. Usually, we'll use this one if we're going to punch in a downward motion. So we put our thumb on top to give it support, and we go in and slightly down. The targets for this, the best target is the mental nerve, the little hole in the corner of the jaw where the mustache comes down. So over here and over here. And basically, we want to just place it in and down. Even that little tap he felt, if I would extend my hand, we'd be picking him up from the ground. Extending down, okay? Another target area that we can use with a small weapon is we can actually go to the torso, which we usually don't do. The reason we don't do that is if I punch him in the chest, he's got enough muscle that he can protect it. All right, switch one more time. But if he grabs me and I use a small weapon and I come to the stomach 15 point, which is in the center of his chest, I get a really big effect from that. Where if I would have punched him, he would have just felt it and stood there. So focusing to the chest area, if I use a small weapon, I can bring him right down. Another spot that I really like to hit is we find where his shoulder is and the line where his arm lifts, there's a hollow pocket where we have 1, 2, 3 points. We have lung 1 and 2, and we also have a spleen point. We're interested in the top ones. The knuckle will fit directly in there. So if he's grabbed me and for some reason I need him to turn, maybe to expose a back point, I'll shoot a knuckle into that point, which will set up getting behind him. So I don't need a lot of wind up. I'm here, I just shoot it in, and I'm behind him instantly. The advantage in this also is, if he's grabbed me here, where's he punching me? This hand. If I'm striking into this region, when he goes to punch, it's going to stop it instantly and allow me to follow up with another technique. So anytime I go down, I use this knuckle. If I need to strike in an upward motion, let's say under the cheekbone, we extend the center knuckle and we twist in and up. So now when he grabs, I cannot show you this. I can show it to you, but I can't do it to him because this one will be very painful. We put it in, twisting, and we strike under the cheekbone, and you'll get a very quick knock.